Internet, Eric here. It's October still, and I'm still discussing horror movies that I've never seen. And this is going to be an interesting one. I honestly never was interested in seeing this film because it's a silent film. I'm more so interested in seeing its remake because it's been praised by Mike from American Werewolf in New Jersey. But I figured, being a horror fan, I might as well, for at least history's sake, watch it just to say I've watched it, and again, because of its place in history, and not just horror movie history, but cinema in general. Today I am discussing, from 1922, Nosferatu. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, what have you. This movie's over 100 years old, so if you're like me and you're just now seeing it, you've had plenty of time, so watch out for the spoilers. It's basically the retelling of Dracula, the novel. Um, Please note that it was hard for me to pay attention to character names. I'm bad with them in general, but because there was no dialogue, because it is a silent film, I'm just going to name the characters other than Count Orlok, Jonathan Harker, Mina, Renfield. You know what I mean? It's just going to be that easy to describe them. If you want to know who the hell I'm talking about, go to Wikipedia. Count Orlok he lives in Transylvania. He's looking to buy a home wherever Jonathan Harker and Mina live. And Jonathan Harker is sent to his castle to sign the proper paperwork. Orlok goes to the country where outside of Transylvania, and tries to wreak havoc, seducing Mina, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man. Taking into account that this is a 1922 silent film, it's still going to be hard for me to, I guess you would say, discuss it. The acting, for what it was, remember, I'm watching this for the first time in 2023. It's not awful. I know there has to be over exaggerations because of there's being no sound. Speaking of, just side note, I watched this version on YouTube. The copyright said copyright 2000, so I don't know whoever fixed up and cleaned it up a little bit. That's the version I watched. Do not watch the version on Tubi. I had to turn that off after 10 minutes because instead of having the organ music that you normally hear in like spooky silent films, it had some weird Evanescence type wailing during the whole fucking thing, and I turned it off after 10 minutes. Anyways, the overacting, I understand why. Like when they're scared, they're biting their hands, or they're this or that, or like the doctor who when he's in deep in thought, he's going, you know what I mean? It is what it is, but it's very easy for me to snicker at. So there is no one really outstanding in this. The guy, the wannabe Jonathan Harker, he's okay. The wannabe Mina, she's okay. The guy who plays Renfield, or the wannabe Renfield, I liked him because he was psychotic. First off, he's this crazy old man with like Doc Brown hair, but he's more bald on top. So he kind of reminded me of like the old men in that Three Doors Down music video, Kryptonite. You know what I mean? When they're the crazy like old superheroes running around. I liked him. His over the top acting I bought when he's eating the flies, when he escapes from the sanitarium, and he's running around town scaring people, leaping over walls and stuff like that. He was cool. He was fun to watch. But everyone else is just kind of okay. They're doing what they can with what they're given in 1922. Now, Max Schreck is the guy that plays Count Orlok. Count Orlok is basically Dracula. Love his look. The pasty white skin, the long fingernails, bald head, pointy ears, buck teeth. Very scary. Very menacing in just the little movements he does with his body. I love. It's parodied 100 times, but when the coffin opens and he's laying flat and he just goes straight like that, menacing. Good use of shadows in this movie. We've seen it before. Just the shadow of Count Orlok against the wall. They copied it in Bram Stoker's Dracula. They copied it in Wes Craven's New Nightmare when Freddy is, in the bedroom and, you see the shadow and stuff like that. Robert Englund was full on doing Max Schreck in this. And I like this scene where he's like seducing the wannabe Mina. and she's just sitting there on the bed, and you just see the shadow of his hand going up her blouse, going towards like her heart and squeezing. So every time Count Orlok is on screen, it's really good, and that shows how much of a presence this character has, because the first 25 minutes he's not even on screen, and I'm bored to tears. You know what I mean? It's the love story between Jonathan and Mina, and then him going to the other country, and it's just him like, you know, writing in his diary and then just talking to people, and it's just kind of boring. Again, it's a 1922 silent film. I don't think I'm made for silent films. I've only seen one, and it was like decades ago. It was The Kid with Charlie Chaplin, and that's done differently. That's, you know, that's a comedy. It's goofy. It's stupid. You know what I mean? This was trying to be super serious and scary, and I just didn't buy it when Count Orlok was on screen. This movie, at least this version, is like an hour and 20 minutes. The one on Tubi is like an hour and a half, you know, and I'm glad I didn't have that extra 10 minutes of that fucking awful soundtrack. But what was this? There's a lot of padding in this. Like, we don't need to hear about, or we didn't need those scenes with like the professors telling us about Venus flytraps. You know, associating it with a vampire, sure, but we didn't need that. We didn't need them talking about this other insect and all this and that. There's a lot of padding that is just there to be padding. And I get it. They're trying their best to tell you the story without being able to speak, but still, you could have cut out like 20 minutes of this film. That's why I like the Universal pictures I've seen so far, like the Universal monsters. They're only like 70 minutes long. This was way too long, in my opinion. You could have cut out like 20 minutes of this. The music of this version was fine. It was, you know, creepy organ music. But again, the problem is with it being an hour and 20 minutes long, it's very grating. And it really gets old really, really fast for me. And I just kind of tune out. I'm not going to lie. I got bored, and there were times when I was, you know, on my phone. Which sucks with it being a silent film, then you can easily miss dialogue. So I had to rewind it a few times. That's the main problem with this film. It's boring. You know what I mean? And I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. There's not much else to say about this. You know, I like Count Orlok. I like his look. I like the way his body language, his presence, the use of shadows. The rest of this film is just boring to me. I'm going to end it right now. I'm glad I watched it for history's sake, for film and cinema. I'm glad I watched it as a horror fan because, you know, it's Nosferatu. But I will never watch this film again. I appreciate for what it done for cinema, but if it wasn't for Max Schreck as Count Orlok, I would have turned it off. Like, within maybe a half hour, because I really got bored of Nosferatu. You know what I mean? It's, again, maybe silent films are not for me. I don't know, but I don't recommend it. Didn't like it. I'm not going to say I didn't like it at all, because, again, Count Orlok, but I didn't like this film. But I am very interested in the remake from with Klaus Kinski in it, because I've heard many, many scary things about him and many interesting things about the remake. But, again, I don't recommend 1922's Nosferatu. Stick with the talkies, stick with the Universal stuff, and going forward, even Hammer. It is what it is. All right, that's it. Sorry for a disappointing video, but you can't always like what you're going to or what you plan on discussing. So, with that, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment below. Click the bell. Comment below. Tell me, did you like this film? If you did, why? You know, what am I? You know, tell me what you see differently in this. Do you like silent films? You know what I mean? Because, like I said, it's just not for me. Got some other things playing on the horizon. Not going to say it is. I'm going to do as much as I can, trying to get these daily videos out to get as much content as I can, and then who knows what I got for next month. But until then, oof, this was a rough run. Again, watch the one on YouTube. Fuck the one on Tubi. That one's even worse. Fuck. Cheers.